Welcome to this channel. You're not just here to listen to a story. You are here to learn English naturally, to feel inspired, and to understand how real life shapes real greatness. This story will help you improve your reading, listening, and thinking skills without pressure. As you continue, you will see how simple words can carry deep meaning. You will also learn that success is not fast, and greatness is never easy. This story is calm, honest, and real. Just like life, Abraham Lincoln's journey did not begin with power or privilege. It began with struggle. He was born in a small wooden cabin, surrounded by forests and silence. His family was very poor, and survival was their daily goal. There was no comfort in his childhood. Work started early, and education came late. School was not regular for him, and books were rare. In total, he received less than 1 year of formal schooling, which seems impossible for someone who later changed a nation. But Lincoln had something stronger than education. He had hunger for learning. Whenever he found a book, he read it again and again. He read at night after long days of physical work, using firelight to see the words. Life did not slow down for him. His mother died when he was still young, leaving a deep emptiness in his heart. That loss shaped his personality, making him quiet, thoughtful, and deeply emotional. As he grew older, he tried to build a stable life. He entered business with hope, but it failed badly. He lost money, partners, and confidence. People began to doubt him, and some openly mocked his failures. He did not stop there. He tried again and failed again. These failures followed him like shadows, but they also taught him patience and humility. He learned that falling down does not mean staying down. Over time, the nation itself began to break apart. Slavery divided the country, and anger filled the air. In the middle of this chaos, Abraham Lincoln rose to leadership, carrying the weight of millions on his shoulders. He was not fearless. He doubted himself often, but he believed leadership meant responsibility, not comfort. He spoke against slavery with calm strength, choosing humanity over hatred. The Civil War brought unimaginable pain. Families lost sons, homes were destroyed, and hope felt distant. Lincoln carried this pain personally, writing letters to grieving families and mourning quietly. Then came his bravest decision. He moved to end slavery, knowing it could cost him everything. It was dangerous and unpopular, but it was right. That choice changed history forever. In the end, Abraham Lincoln lost his life, but his values lived on. He proved that greatness can come from poverty, that failure is not the end, and that kindness and strength can exist together. This is not just the story of a president. It is the story of a human being who refused to quit. And this journey has more to reveal. As Abraham Lincoln stepped deeper into leadership, his inner world became heavier. Power did not make his life easier. It made it more lonely. Every decision carried consequences, and every choice affected thousands of lives. He spent many nights awake, thinking about justice, thinking about unity, thinking about how a nation so divided could ever become whole again. He knew there were no perfect answers, only responsible ones. Lincoln understood people deeply. He listened more than he spoke. Even when others shouted in anger, he stayed calm. He believed that listening was the first step toward healing. Many people misunderstood his silence. Some thought he was weak. Some thought he was unsure. But silence was his strength. He used it to think clearly, while others reacted emotionally. Slavery was the wound that refused to heal. It existed everywhere, accepted by many, defended by powerful voices. Lincoln knew ending it would not make him popular. In fact, it would make him enemies. Still, he believed leadership meant doing what was right, not what was easy. He believed freedom was not a gift for some, but a right for all. These beliefs were not loud, but they were firm. As the Civil War continued, pressure grew from every side. Some demanded faster action, others demanded compromise. Lincoln stood between extremes, trying to protect both morality and unity. He made mistakes. He admitted them. He learned from them. That honesty made him different from many leaders before and after him. One of Lincoln's greatest strengths was empathy. He could see pain even in those who opposed him. He understood fear, loss, and anger because he had lived them personally. When soldiers died, he did not see numbers. He saw sons. He saw brothers. He saw families left behind. This human perspective shaped every word he spoke and every decision he made. During this time, Lincoln delivered speeches that changed how people thought. His words were simple, but powerful. He did not use complicated language. He used clear ideas that touched the heart. People remembered his speeches, not because they were long, but because they were honest. He spoke about equality, sacrifice, and the unfinished work of freedom. Behind the scenes, his life was full of stress. His health suffered. His face aged quickly. The burden of leadership showed in his eyes. Yet he did not retreat. He did not hide. He continued to show up, day after day, even when doubt followed him closely. One of the most remarkable things about Lincoln was his humility. Even as president, he never forgot where he came from: the poor cabin, the empty pockets, the long failures. This humility allowed him to connect with ordinary people: farmers, workers, mothers, soldiers. They saw themselves in him. As the war slowly moved toward its end, the cost was clear. Too much blood had been spilled. Too many lives had been lost. The nation was tired, wounded, and grieving. Lincoln began to focus not only on victory, but on healing. He believed punishment would create more hatred. He believed forgiveness could create a future. His vision was not revenge, it was reconciliation. He wanted to bring the nation back together, not tear it further apart. But not everyone shared this vision. Some wanted punishment. Some wanted power. Some wanted silence. Despite this, Lincoln stayed true to his values. He believed history would judge actions, not popularity. Then came a moment of hope. The war ended. Slavery was officially abolished. Freedom, long denied, finally became law. The nation stood at the edge of a new beginning, and Lincoln stood with it, ready to guide the healing process. But fate had other plans. Just when hope felt possible, tragedy struck. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. His life ended suddenly, violently, and unfairly. The nation fell into shock. Grief spread everywhere. People realized they had lost more than a leader. They had lost a moral compass. In death, Lincoln became more powerful than in life. His words echoed louder. His ideas lived longer. His example became timeless. He left behind no wealth, no luxury, no dynasty. He left behind values. He showed the world that leadership can be kind, that strength can be gentle, that courage does not always shout. For anyone struggling today, Lincoln's story carries a message. You do not need a perfect beginning. You do not need constant success. You need persistence. Failure does not disqualify you. Pain does not define you. Your response to struggle shapes who you become. Abraham Lincoln did not rise quickly. He rose slowly, painfully, and honestly. That is why his story still matters. And this journey is not finished yet. After Abraham Lincoln's death, the nation felt empty. People realized that his greatest gift was not just leadership, but moral clarity. In a time of chaos, he had shown what it meant to stay human. His journey reminds us that greatness is often quiet. It grows slowly, through patience, mistakes, and reflection. Lincoln never tried to appear perfect. He allowed himself to be learning all the time. One reason his story still touches people is honesty. He never pretended to have all the answers. Instead, he asked the right questions that made people trust him. Lincoln believed words had power. He chose them carefully, not to impress, but to connect. He spoke in a way that farmers, workers, and soldiers could understand. His language was simple, but his ideas were deep. This is an important lesson for life and for communication. You don't need complicated words to sound intelligent. You need clarity, truth, and sincerity. Many people think success is about winning early. Lincoln's life shows the opposite. His early years were full of loss, rejection, and failure. Yet, those years built his strength. Every failed election taught him patience. Every loss taught him empathy. Every mistake taught him humility. These lessons prepared him for leadership more than any success ever could. Lincoln also understood the danger of pride. Even when he became president, He remained grounded. He laughed at himself. He accepted criticism. He listened to opposing views. He knew that power without humility can destroy nations. So he chose restraint. He chose thoughtfulness. He chose balance. Another powerful lesson from Lincoln's life is resilience. He faced deep sadness many times. He experienced loneliness, doubt, and emotional pain. Yet he never allowed despair to stop him completely. He kept moving forward, even if the movement was slow. This teaches us something important. Progress does not have to be fast. It only has to be steady. Lincoln also believed in second chances. He did not see people only as enemies or allies. He saw them as humans shaped by fear, culture, and history. That belief guided his vision after the war. He wanted to rebuild, not punish. He wanted healing, not revenge. This mindset was rare, especially after so much bloodshed. In today's world, this lesson feels even more relevant. We often rush to judge. We quickly divide. Lincoln reminds us that unity requires patience and understanding. He showed that leadership is not about shouting the loudest. It is about listening deeply. It is about carrying responsibility with care. Lincoln's story also teaches us about purpose. He did not chase success blindly. He searched for meaning. When he found it, he stayed loyal to it, even when it was dangerous. Purpose gave him direction when everything else felt uncertain. It gave him strength when criticism surrounded him. It gave him courage when fear was everywhere. For anyone watching this today, there is a quiet message here. Your life does not need to look impressive to be meaningful. Your journey does not need to be smooth to be valuable. Like Lincoln, you may feel misunderstood. You may face repeated failures. You may feel late compared to others. That does not mean you're wrong. Sometimes, life is preparing you slowly. Sometimes, delay is training. Sometimes, struggle is shaping character. Lincoln did not rush his growth. Life forced him to grow patiently, and when the moment came, he was ready. He also teaches us that kindness is not weakness. Compassion is not softness. In fact, they are signs of strength. In moments of crisis, Lincoln chose empathy over anger. He chose reason over reaction. That choice defined his legacy. His life reminds us that true leadership begins within. It begins with values. It begins with self-awareness. It begins with responsibility. Abraham Lincoln's life teaches us something very quiet but very powerful. Change does not always come from confidence. Sometimes, it comes from doubt. Lincoln doubted himself often, but he never doubted his values. He believed that a leader should grow with responsibility. As the nation grew more divided, he grew more thoughtful. Instead of reacting emotionally, he paused and reflected. This habit helped him make decisions that were not popular, but necessary. Lincoln never tried to impress people. He tried to serve them. His speeches were not dramatic performances. They were conversations with a wounded nation. People felt that sincerity. One reason his words still live today is because they came from experience. He knew hunger. He knew loss. He knew failure. That made his words real, not rehearsed. He also understood timing. Lincoln knew that forcing change too fast could break unity. He waited when needed and acted when the moment arrived. This balance required patience and courage. Many criticized him for waiting. Many accused him of weakness, but history shows that his timing saved the nation from deeper destruction. Lincoln believed democracy was fragile. He believed it survived only when people acted with conscience. That belief guided him during the hardest moments of the war. Even as president, he carried personal pain. His family life was not peaceful. Tragedy followed him there as well. Still, he showed up for his duties every day. This teaches an important lesson. You don't need a perfect personal life to make a positive impact. You only need commitment and integrity. Lincoln also believed learning never stops. He continued reading, listening, and growing even while leading the country. He remained a student of life. That mindset kept him adaptable. When situations changed, he changed. When he realized a mistake, he corrected it. This flexibility made him stronger, not weaker. Another powerful lesson from Lincoln's life is moral courage. He did not choose the easy path. He chose the ethical one. Even when it isolated him, he stayed aligned with his beliefs. He understood that popularity fades, but principles last. That understanding gave him peace during moments of criticism. Lincoln's humility allowed him to surround himself with strong voices, even those who disagreed with him. He valued ideas over ego. This is rare in leadership. Many leaders fear opposition. Lincoln welcomed it. He believed disagreement sharpened truth. As the nation slowly moved toward healing, Lincoln's vision became clearer. He wanted a future built on understanding, not punishment. His focus was unity, not victory. Sadly, he did not live to complete this vision. His assassination cut that journey short, but the direction he set continued forward. In many ways, Lincoln's unfinished work became a responsibility for future generations. His ideas outlived his body. Today, his story continues to speak because it reflects real human struggle. He was not flawless. He was persistent. He did not overcome fear by ignoring it. He overcame fear by acting responsibly despite it. For anyone watching this, there is a quiet reminder here. You don't need to be fearless to move forward. You only need to be honest with yourself. Lincoln's life shows that leadership begins long before recognition. It begins in private moments of choice, discipline, and reflection. His legacy is not about power. It is about character. And as we reach the final part of this journey, his message becomes even clearer. As we reach the end of Abraham Lincoln's journey, one thing becomes very clear. His life was never about personal success. It was about responsibility. He carried the weight of a nation not because he wanted to, but because he believed he must. Lincoln showed us that true strength is not loud. It does not demand attention. It stands quietly, even when the world is noisy. He proved that calm thinking can exist even during chaos. What makes his story special is not the position he reached, but the path he took. The long road of failures, losses, and doubts shaped him into someone capable of leading with humanity. He never forgot his beginnings. Even at the highest level of power, he remembered the wooden cabin, the empty pockets, and the long nights of reading by firelight. Those memories kept him grounded. Lincoln believed that progress comes from understanding, not hatred. He believed that healing begins when people listen instead of attack. These ideas feel timeless because they are deeply human. His life teaches us that it is okay to feel unsure. It is okay to struggle. It is okay to move slowly. What matters is that you do not stop moving. Many people wait for confidence before taking action. Lincoln shows us that action can come first, and confidence follows later. Courage is often born from responsibility, not certainty. He also teaches us about patience. Some dreams take years to become clear. Some goals require repeated failure before they make sense. Lincoln's life was proof that delayed success is still success. For English learners, his story offers another lesson. Simple language can carry powerful ideas. You do not need perfect words to express truth. You need honesty and clarity. That is why his speeches are still remembered. They were not complicated. They were sincere. They spoke to people, not above them. For anyone feeling small or overlooked, Lincoln's life sends a quiet message. Where you start does not decide where you end. Circumstances do not define your character. Choices do. He reminds us that leadership is not about control. It is about care. It is about making decisions that protect others, even when it costs you personally. Lincoln paid the highest price for his beliefs, but his ideas did not die with him. They continued to guide generations. Even today, his name represents honesty, resilience, and moral courage. Not because he was perfect, but because he stayed true. As this story ends, take a moment to reflect. Think about your own journey, your struggles, your delays, your doubts. Maybe they are not stopping you. Maybe they are shaping you. Like Abraham Lincoln, you may not see the full meaning of your path right now, but every step, every failure, every quiet effort matters. If this story helped you learn English more calmly or inspired you to see life differently, then its purpose is fulfilled. And if you want to continue learning through stories like this, walking through history and life together, subscribe and stay with this journey.